Welcome to the Live Healthy Louisville podcast, where we dive into the heart of the city's health and wellness scene, brought to you by Results by Design Fitness. We're going to bring you stories, local experts, and tips so you can live your best life right here in Louisville.
That's right. And today's guest is Dr. Leah Wright of Louisville Family Chiropractic. At Louisville Family Chiropractic, they combine skill and expertise that spans the entire chiropractic wellness scene. And I'm excited for this one because I'm excited to learn from Dr. Leah, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the story of Louisville Family Chiropractic. And I know that Scott has a good relationship and connection. So I'm just excited for this whole thing to unfold.
Yeah, awesome. Dr. Leah, first, just thank you for being here. Myself, my family, we love you dearly, so we appreciate you. And just to talk a little bit about chiropractic, let's start this off. I remember back in college, I was a sophomore working on homecoming floats with all the sororities, right? All the sororities.
You would.
Yep. And there was a stump. There was a stump that I thought I could pick up and move. And I did, but I didn't move for the next couple days after that. And I was hurt. My low back was injured. I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. And I remember going to the chiropractor for the first time and getting adjusted. And I was like, holy cow, what just happened? I was like, I instantly felt better. It was one of those, and I know it's not always like that, but it was one of those moments like, wow, this is wonderful. So I know, like myself, a lot of people think about chiropractic with back injuries and back pains. But as I've gotten older, as I've gotten more into health and fitness, I realized that it's so much more. So can you talk a little bit about like what is chiropractic care in your eyes, and like what are some of the common misconceptions with it?
Gosh, there's so many different directions to go from there. And yeah, we normally do see people that are worried about not being able to do the things that they want to do, because that's really about what life is, being able to enjoy our families, enjoy our lives, and not have to think about pain or discomfort. So in your instance, your body had adapted as much as it possibly could, and then dang, it just couldn't adapt anymore. And so then it was giving you the signal that something was wrong, and you did the smart thing. Instead of masking your symptoms, you actually took an action step and worked on getting the balance of your body back. The pressure probably was on a disc at that point that caused it to have some inflammation and swelling that sent messages up your nerves to your brain that said, something ain't right here, we need some help. So that's pretty awesome that a young man sought chiropractic. Usually we see men later in their 30s, and when their wives are like, dude, you got to be able to help me with these kids, or you've got to be able to work. So you got introduced very early, and I'm sorry that was that situation, but by starting to take care of your body that early, look at you now.
Right.
Honestly, I think communication is difficult for men in general. And your body is the ultimate communicator. Like your body does not lie. Your body's telling you exactly what it's experiencing. Like if you are in a point of pain, like your body is signaling your brain like, hey, you need to fix this pain element first. I think part of the reason is probably because like the holistic approach with fitness, that was your mindset with your body as well. Like, oh, something's not right. I need to seek out someone who's going to get me out of this position. So I think, our bodies give us these messages for a specific reason, and sometimes it's about addressing the message first before we try to accomplish anything else. Like I was just taking someone through an assessment this morning, and we were discussing his back pain a little bit, and we were discussing his, he said he lacked core strength. Well, I took him through an assessment and found out, well, I don't know that you lack core strength. I just don't think you're using your core like you should. And here's what we can do for you. But it was those signals over time where his experience just so happened to be, I feel like I'm weak here and my back's bugging me. But I think that's a powerful component. Like when you can be man enough or woman enough to say, you know what, I'm going to step up and take care of my own health and make this a priority first, then you can actually unlock, like you said, a more fulfilled life and unlock your purpose and live it to the fullest.
Yeah. And pain's interesting. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said it's a signal. We think it's kind of the end result, and it's really not. It's a way that our body communicates with us. So What are some of the things that you see? Like, what are the misconceptions around pain that you see in chiropractic care?
Well, in the type of chiropractic care we do, which is family care, I mean, I see brand new babies to 106-year-olds, my oldest patient. By the time you're feeling pain, typically there's something that's been going on for quite some time. So for the babies that we see, they can't tell you they're having pain, but they might not be functioning like they should. They might not be eating, sleeping, or pooping quite right. So they can't tell us they have pain, but then give them a few weeks and they can tell you they have pain because they start squalling and, showing distress.
Yeah.
So we like to start off, even preconception, if the mother has a resting heart rate that's out of control and has anxiety, then from getting pregnant is going to be difficult. The whole pregnancy can be difficult. And then you start off a lifetime of stress, anxiety, malfunction. And then by the time you start doing sports or doing a job, sitting, you already have the foundation of having back problems. So 90% of our nervous system, which is the brain, spinal cord, the exiting nerve roots, carry messages for function of our body. So by the time that 10% is the pain signal, by the time that gets pinched, you're in a bit of a pickle.
Don't let your squeaks become a squeal. So it makes sense. Like if the light on the dashboard's on, it's telling you something, and it might not be pain in and of that moment. It may be another signal of your body where maybe if you're into some sort of sport or performance, maybe your performance has declined. Maybe you have less energy. Maybe you're not sleeping well because your body has adapted poorly to a certain situation. Maybe you need someone to get you out of that before it does turn into pain. Maybe that little squeak right now, you need to get it addressed before your check engine light comes on, and then you got some serious issues. That's a good point with the pain experience. Sometimes it starts with something small.
And I think the nervous system is incredibly important. I think it's something so overlooked, and we all know the fight or flight, but we never talk about the other side of that equation, and that's that digest and rest. So how does chiropractic address the nervous system?
Very gently, with not pops and clicks most of the time if we're talking about a newborn or a pregnant lady. Or if we need to do a little bit more adjusting, our goal is to find out where the pressure is on the nervous system and relieve that, whether it is from an infant to a 30-year-old football player, 25-year-old football player. And then when we locate the area that has pressure on it, hopefully we can do some tonal release, some gentle adjusting to help relieve any misalignment that could be putting pressure on the nerves. Or we could do a little bit more manual, which would entail manipulating a joint so that there's not pressure on this actual disc, the soft tissue, or the nerves in there.
Right.
So some people don't feel like they've been adjusted unless they hear a pop or a click. That's not the only way to adjust, but we do go there sometimes and often, but we don't necessarily have to either.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good point. Because a lot of people I hear all the time, they're like, I need to go get cracked or I need to go get popped. And then they may say some things like, well, I went to the chiro, but they couldn't really crack me. And I'm like, well, there's got to be more to the story than that. So it makes a lot of sense because you mentioned different modalities there. Yeah. And I think people paint this picture of chiropractic being just one simple modality, right, and they forget all of these other intangibles at play. It seems like you take a very holistic approach and like you're analyzing each person individually. Like
right.
People are just built different.
Well, you never know what that person's going to present with. If they're if they don't respond to a lot of people don't even like to be touched or don't get touched. Yeah. And then if you come in like a freight train and really overactivate their nervous system, then they might leave feeling better, but they might be overstimulated and not hold their adjustments as well. Whereas some people really respond to really light body work. I mean, you can access the vagus nerve by just touching behind the ear, or work on the whole brain by just working on the cranial vault. I mean, there's so many ways to affect. I can affect your nervous system by saying, boom, you know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So that might not be a positive way.
That's a really good, important thing too, because I think what you do really, really well is help create balance. You know me, when I come in there, I've got a million things on my to-do list. I'm thinking about 100 things, but every time I walk into your office, I slow down, I relax. You're calm. You're life-giving. I mean, like just being around you. You know, some people have that aura. You know, like when you're around them, you just feel relaxed. And Dr. Leah has that, and I know a lot of people out there in Louisville know that as well. But how did Dr. Leah, let's talk a little bit about Dr. Leah. How did Dr. Leah wind up becoming Dr. Leah? I know we all have our origin story. So like, what made you go down the route of chiropractic?
Well, we won't go from birth, but we'll start at like 16. Okay. I was a high school athlete. I played everything I could play.
Yeah.
And one of the girls that I really looked up to in high school, actually I was in middle school and she was in high school, her brother was a chiropractor. And he announced all of our games and had a great, gregarious personality and was just a really great role model. And he was the type of person that would just make you feel wonderful. He actually did interviews, like after the game, he would do post-game interviews. So this kind of reminds me of him. Yeah. Dr. Mike Seibert, he was from Madisonville, Kentucky, and he recently passed last year, but he was my inspiration. And I wanted to own my own business. I knew at that point I wanted to make my own rules, kind of, and I wanted to be able to take care of a family and have a family, but I really got squeamish with blood, and so I had to figure out what I would do. And with what he did, it just seemed like it would be a great career because he was able to have fun and help people, but he wasn't doing surgeries or on call all the time. Yeah. And then, you know, the Lord really, I'm a believer in Jesus, and I feel like from a young age, He guided me in the right path to live out not just a job but a lifestyle, which is chiropractic and a more holistic approach to things. So I didn't know that with chiropractic, it actually was a philosophy of life, but it surely was. And I went pretty direct into that, but I meandered a little bit. In college may have had some fun, but I was able to graduate by the time I was 25, and we started Louisville Family Chiropractic then.
God's going to lead you to the right direction, and He's going to bring out your passions so long as you trust and you welcome in relationships that actually build you up. I think a lot of the stories that we've heard so far, since we've been bringing on some of the local guests, is that everybody does have an origin story, like Scott mentioned, but most origin stories are sparked by meeting someone who you say, you know what, like I like the way that they present themselves. I like the aura that they have. I like the personality. I like how they are able to impact others. I want that. I crave that. Like we saw it with Jennifer, with Judy, and with Judy with some of the ladies that she was around. We saw it with Jimmy and his baseball career coming to a halt, and God saying, "Hey, you know what? You can still use baseball as your passion, buddy. Why not let other people? Why not help other kids get to the same spot that you got to?" So I think, long story short, like it's about the people that you're around. And I think it was Matt Hall that was on this podcast that said it's easier to make your customers your friends than your friends your customers. So not only that, but now you're building relationships through your customers, and it's turning into just telling this story to other people. Like there's probably somebody listening out there that maybe is looking for their spark or looking for their origin story. Some people find it later in life. There may be some younger people out here that are like, what could I do? Maybe there's a young woman out there that's squeamish around blood, but knows that she wants to impact people. And to find that there's an external approach that aligns spiritually with what she believes in can help her actually bring people closer, but then help people feel their best while they're here too. So I love your story. And like Scott mentioned, like your personality is very welcoming. And I just met you about 15 minutes ago, and I feel like I'm really getting to know you at a deep level. And I would assume that's how most of your customers feel that have probably become friends now.
They absolutely feel that way, or at least speaking for myself, my family feels that way. We were talking last week with Judy, and she had kind of a similar moment. We call that a God wink. You know, it's God puts these people, these situations, these opportunities in our life. But if you didn't have the courage to step into that opportunity, you wouldn't have the opportunity to impact people the way you do now, right? So chiropractic care, Louisville Family Chiropractic, is exactly what you do. My paradigm of chiropractic care really has shifted over the last 6 years. Obviously, since having children of my own, having a 6 and a 4-year-old, you know, my original experience with chiro was, you know, my back hurt, let's go get it fixed. But you've already kind of talked to it a little bit, but like, you know, taking our kids in there and watching them change instantly from the adjustments, from the tonal releases and all of those things. It just speaks to the magic of the nervous system, right? So what made you go the whole family route?
I didn't know what I was going to do when I decided to go to chiropractic school, but as I was in school, we were all most of us were in our 20s, early 20s, and started having families and children. And, you know, our women's hormones start changing and making us into different people that have different outlooks on things. So as the more mature I got, or I guess the more I became a woman, I reckon, I just realized that pregnancy, being able to work on somebody when they're pregnant, not only affects them, but that unborn baby too. Yeah. And then why not love on the dad? He needs to be healthy. And if the mom and dad are in unison and in harmony raising this child, then they're going to not only have a better marriage, but their children are going to be a lot healthier physically, emotionally, spiritually too. So the family practice approach just made sense. There's a lot of different ways to take care of pain out there, and chiropractic is definitely one of them. But by teaching people, in our office, you're hearing things that aren't necessarily mainstream, especially 20 years ago when I started. Yeah. There were a lot of bad things that happened during the pandemic, but one of them was people started thinking for themselves even more than they did. And the generation of new parents now have all these resources to dive into and ask questions to. They don't just go to their pediatrician to ask for advice. They're coming in loaded, thinking about nursing, how they're going to deliver their babies, what kind of health care they're going to give their babies. So it's really been cool to see how that's changed over the past 20 years. But back then, when we talked about organic foods or how the food pyramid might not be the best way to eat, it was kind of going against mainstream thought. And chiropractic, especially wellness chiropractic, was taboo. I mean, people were like, why would you take your baby to the chiropractor? Now it's like, why wouldn't you? But we've had to really swim upstream, and now it's kind of floating a little bit. Like, this is really awesome. People are on board. So, that's what attracted me to it, because in chiropractic school, is really the one that I went to, Sherman College it used to be called Straight Chiropractic, and it was called that because they only taught chiropractic there. And they taught us a lot about nutrition, a lot about the effect of the things that you put in your body and the outcome that it has on your body. And just really made you think about things and the way that the world worked to manipulate our perceptions that I didn't know before that. So it really helped model me into a more holistic person, I'd say.
It's crazy that taking care of your own health and thinking holistically would be going against the mainstream, but it's 100% true. I don't know what it is, and maybe you and you touched on it a little bit with your education background, but I don't know what it is, but some of the most brilliant minds in the holistic realm of health had a chiropractic background. Like so many people that we know that are in the functional and frequency medicine scene. Some of my wife, she's a physical therapist. Some of her friends that she went to school with or ran with in college, and they have this mindset around the whole person, right? And so I think it's starting to help shift things in the right direction, but oftentimes people that are in that seat, doctors and general practitioners and doctors of physical therapy, maybe some other chiros, stick to one specific principle or stick to what they're taught, and instead of reaching for more. So I think that's what attracts us to people like you and people like some of the other guests that we've had on the show, is their approach to, okay, I have this background right here, but there's more at play. I'm going to take each person individually into consideration, and I'm going to expand my knowledge and search for more, because that's what's going to help us be able to provide a better service to people, to meet people where they are, to take them on this journey so that we can actually give them results down the road, keep them healthy and happy, and help mom take care of herself so that mom can take care of babies. Yeah. Help get dad involved so that it becomes a whole family approach. And then it's habitual change. And then down the road, who knows what kind of generations that Dr. Lee is impacting,
Lots of them.
Thank
Lots
you.
of them, to another generation of my family for sure. You talked a little bit about food.
Yeah.
Right. And talked about nutrition. And it's something that's hugely important with what we do at the gym. But people don't realize that food is an input. Your environment is an input. What you're breathing is an input. How you're taking care of your body is an input. And it creates the output of our life. It creates how we show up to our family, to our friends, to our employers, to our clients. Talk a little bit about nutrition. How does that play a role in chiropractic care?
Well, you are what you eat. But when we went in school, we had a lot of nutrition, which I don't know if in medical school if they get that. We didn't get any pharmacology in chiropractic school, but we learned how to use different supplements and nutritional foods to help people in certain situations. So what was your question again?
Just how does exactly what you just said, how does nutrition feed into creating that holistic health? Whether you can talk about it from a sense of how it reduces inflammation, how it gives you energy, all those fun things.
Yeah. Well, definitely it reduces inflammation and probably when you got hurt in college, you may not have had, most people don't drink enough water, or maybe you were living on ramen noodles back then. So inflammation is a huge, huge part. If your body's not being fed what it needs to be fed, you're not going to have the energy to move. Yeah. You're not going to be able to be happy to have the relationships that you want. You can't show up for your kids because you're going to be sleepy and grumpy, and they're going to be sleepy and grumpy. And I am not perfect by any means, but we all do our best. And in our society, sugar is pretty much one of the number one enemies ever. And this time of year, going from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to Valentine's Day and no sunlight we're getting ready. I've already seen a lot of kids that are expressing health in sickness. So yeah, and you have to meet people where they are. Sure. If you come in, and we had a patient a couple days ago that he was drinking 8 sugar-free sodas a day. He has brain fog, he has headaches, he has muscle cramps. So you take them where they are, and I don't expect him to drop all the sodas and not eat sugar-free things and be cured in one day. But if you can start having conversations with people, then they'll start thinking about it, and they'll use their phones and start looking up things. Well, what's she talking about? So we meet people where they are and have those talks, not forcefully. Because they come there for love, and I want people to leave the office feeling loved and heard, but at the same time, start planting some seeds and open conversation. And if people ask for help, we have some different symptom surveys and nutritional things that we can do to get them on the right track. If I see some red lights, I'm not a nutritionist, and I'm not a functional medicine doctor. I love it, and I think that would be somewhere to go in the future, but I will refer out. You kind of like, oh, this person needs some help and they're ready for help. So I love to have different people to send to this. These people will help you get in better shape. Right. You had colon cancer, you had a surgery. These people will analyze your physical abilities and get you on an exercise program that's going to help you rather than go to other places that would maybe not.
Like-minded resources are out there. And I think just as certain practitioners are trained to prescribe and here, go do it, I think the human brain is wired to say, okay, what's the one fix-it for me? So I think a lot of people say, well, for example, my wife just did a blood chemistry review for someone, and it's a guy a little younger than me actually, in his late 20s, who struggles with he got his blood work back, low testosterone, receding hairline, stubborn belly fat, and low self-confidence as a result of everything, not sleeping well, stressed. High blood pressure, all of the things that you shouldn't have at 29 years old. And after the entire blood chemistry review, hour-long meeting with my wife, he said, okay, what can I do? Well, she explains, well, we're going to start with some nutrition tactics. Here's what you need to do. Here's how much protein I want you to start consuming. And here's what you should eliminate. And he comes back and a couple meetings later, and he's like, hey, what can I do? Okay, I just told you, we've got to start with that first. There's a lot of things I can do from you from a physical therapy route, chiropractic route, personal training route, but are you putting the right inputs in your body for the output that you desire? And I think it's just the faulty way that we're wired, like the way society has said, like, hey, everybody has a medication that you can take.
Pill for every ill.
Exactly. A pill for every ill. But how is that pill interacting with the other pill that you're taking for the other pill that you're taking for the other pill?
Not well.
And then all of a sudden we're this metabolic nightmare because of all the other inputs that we put in our body because someone was trained to say this is right for that disease, but we didn't address the whole person.
Yeah. You said it just how we say it at the gym. You got to meet people where they're at. And you've also got to create a relationship or a connection with them before they're going to take advice from you. You have to be willing to kind of find out where they're coming from. Like, what are all those things that are going through their mind, the emotions behind, drinking 8 sodas a day, or 8 sugar-free sodas a day, which, I'll be honest, I'm guilty of as well, right? So I know how hard that is. And you got to kind of figure out like, hey, what are some steps that you can do to move them towards that goal? Yeah. So, but going back a little bit, you started talking about something I want to talk about. So you started talking about the seasons, sugar season, low sunlight season, which means dysregulated immune system season.
That's right.
Right. So we're starting to see this, and we normally call it the cold and flu season. But like, what are some of the things, and how does, what are some of the things you do in the office to help with that?
Right. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a sunshine button, but I can start having conversations with these parents. Right now, our supplement of the month is our Children's Immune, which has D in it. It's got zinc. It's got some colostrum in it. So some things that are going to help build the gut, build the immune system, and it's easy for the kids to take. Yeah. But the main thing is for parents to realize that I guess all these seasons all these holidays were designed to keep people happy during the winter months, but it seems like what we've done is made it where it keeps people sick during the winter months. So I really think, and I know you all do the best you can with it, but getting your kids outside, even if it's cold outside, bundle them up, get them some sunlight every day, playing in the leaves. I know people say don't let your kids play in the leaves because they'll get allergies. But we can't, the more sterile your environment is, probably the more allergies your child's going to have. So we start talking a little bit about that. And I often just beg people, instead of giving them goldfish to munch around on, why don't you just sub those out for some carrot sticks or some type of snack tray that you just sit around while they're playing. They can go get a red pepper or something that actually is alive and living food. So their children will be alive and living and not just carved out little darlings. So we do workshops in the office, and that would be a good topic really to help prepare your kids lifestyle from eating to being outside to just adapt through cold and flu season. I'll have to do one of those.
Yeah, there's better options out there. Like that reminds me of the Matt Hall conversation once again. Like at Clean Eats, they do a great job of helping people choose foods that still sound good and they're still presented in a way that society shoves all the processed food and fast foods in our face. But it allows like Scott's kids to still eat the same foods as their little friends, but they're actually building good habits and building good relationships with food. Whereas, I didn't have a great relationship with food. I had a great relationship with getting out and playing because I enjoyed that and I got out with my friends, and I'm thankful for that component. But I was a soda kid and eating fast food and stopping at fast food restaurants on my way to a tournament where we're playing 4 games in a day and wondering why I'm so tired. And now that I have actually, educated myself and seen some results of eating healthy, can see the results now long term. But I think it's building those habits, like the same thing with getting your family into the gym or getting your family into a chiropractor or when their immune system is dysregulated, helping find some supplementation or healthy eating. Like everything is habit based, and you just have to start somewhere. Like our parents out there, they have to start somewhere. Like, hey, as a family, I'm putting my foot down, and we're going to start to build habits. The kids may not like it for a little bit, but they may like how they feel long term, and they're probably going to be thankful for me 10 years down the road that as a mom I stepped up and said, hey, no more of the oatmeal cream pies in the cabinets. We're gonna start with something that's going to actually fuel your bodies, and it's going to help us grow as a family, withstand the traumas of life that we're already going to inevitably experience, and set ourselves up for the future. So it's probably easier said than done. Like, I don't have kids of my own just yet, but I do know the power at the gym when I see entire families are on board together. Because it's crabs in a bucket when somebody isn't on board. But when everybody kind of builds habits together, like we can actually be somewhere as a family. We can set the tone for the path moving forward, and we can set ourselves up generationally for health long term. So I think it's really cool, the story you're kind of painting of families, by the way. I think most people settle into kind of one specific person that they like to work with. Like a lot of people might say, yeah, I just work with athletes. But no, I want to help mom, dads, brother, sister. I want everybody to be healthy. I want to teach them that there's a better way. I don't want to be that light. I want to make that impact. So I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, that's great. Lessons are caught, not taught.
Okay.
When we're talking about kids eating healthy foods and living foods, I reminded me, I remember last year our daughter started kindergarten, and my wife was, they were in the carpool line at 7 o'clock in the morning. And Aubrey looks over and like, hey, Mom, I want some broccoli. Yes. Like, that's not normal, right? Not normal, but that's the stuff that she's been raised on, the stuff she's brought up on. And yeah, she gets candy and stuff from time to time, but they love fruits and vegetables and healthy meals and healthy foods. And yeah, occasionally we'll go out to like Clean Eats for a treat. But I can go there and I can get gluten-free chicken nuggets. I can get sweet potato fries that are not deep fried, right? So Matt, we're giving you all kinds of shout outs today. Right. Yeah. So, but I love places like that. Let's talk to the listeners. Let's tell them some stuff. Like, I know with my kids, like, yeah, they didn't poop for a few days. We take them to Dr. Leah. Oh, guess what? They poop, right? And that's a good thing, especially when you got babies. I know over the last few years, anytime we started to have earaches or ear pains, we bring them to Dr. Leah. They get that release. So what are some of the things that you've seen in your practice over the last 20 years, like that, especially with kids, right? Because I know how important it is. I know mom and dad, when you see a kid sick, you feel hopeless, you feel powerless, and you're willing to do absolutely anything. So I know for us, having somebody like you in our corner is priceless.
Yeah. So your children are unique and very special, and on the higher end of parents all parents are responsible for their children, but you all go above and beyond to make sure that they're fed really well. They get good nutrition. They're really special kids. But even these kids that are really healthy have problems. So, or not problems. Their bodies are showing up with some signs that need, like, something's a little out of line. So, we see we do a lot to help children. I won't say we treat ear infections, but by releasing any pressure on the nervous system, especially suboccipital or in the first cervical area, the nerves in that area innervate the muscles that hold up the eustachian tube. If that muscle is spastic, if that nerve is telling that muscle to be spastic, that eustachian tube is going to be more horizontal rather than vertical, and it's not going to drain. And when it doesn't drain, it gets bacteria build up, and we get ear infections. What causes a lot of ear infections are teething. When you have a tooth break through the tissue, you're going to have an immune response. And so that means you're going to have some swelling. And then when that swelling doesn't have anywhere to go, bada bing, bada boom, there's an ear infection. A lot of times babies and children are eating a lot of processed dairy, and that it stinks. I told a mom that today, and she goes, "Oh no, that means I'm going to have to give up dairy." But her baby had just had, or her 18-month-old had just had, has been on over 5 rounds of antibiotics. So and parents don't want to give their kids medicine. They're looking for ways to keep these kids healthy. So with that, and with pooping, if we can get the nervous system working, that brain and that gut, we innately know how to go to the bathroom. God created us. We know how to eliminate. So if we can remove that interference, that helps in and of itself. If we still need a little help, then that gives us a chance to talk about the microbiome of the child, their diet, habits. We even talk about some potty training in the office, what things could be causing a child to withhold and what can make it fun. In over 20 years, having 3 kids of my own, I've gotten a lot more, I understand a lot more. I've been in their shoes. I'm far less judgmental and quick to say, oh, this is what you need to do, because it's so complex. A lot of these cases are. We see a lot of kids, when they have a balanced immune or nervous system, be able to be more confident with their peers because they're not anxious, because their brain and their gut are not under distress. But they stand up straighter. They can breathe better. They don't have allergies like they did because their histamine response is more balanced out. When our master control system is more balanced, or I would love to say completely balanced, but it never is. We're constantly changing. We're always adapting. But when we're able to adapt and change with the stresses of our environment, we're going to be healthier creatures, beings, creatures.
I love the term interference. It just reminds me of like the daily interference that we have on a consistent basis with scrolling and TV and all the things that have made society great with advancements in technology are the same things that cause the interference too, if we let it take control over our lives. Like you mentioned, going something as simple as going to the bathroom, or like if you think about it, like we've had members at the gym that are like, well, I go all day and I'm so busy and with everything going on with the kids and this and that I forget to eat, or I didn't use the bathroom today. Little things as simple as that. But I wonder what it would be like if you remove some of that interference and actually relax for a change. If you think about it, you can go all day long and keep yourself busy and maybe you don't go to the bathroom, but if you actually sit and relax for a few hours, you might loosen some things up and then be able to go. Or same thing with neglecting your food preference, your food intake, and skipping lunch. If we actually take some time, maybe your hunger cues would actually be recognized, and then if you feel hungry, maybe you'd actually put some things into your body. And then sometimes it causes your body to put the emergency brake on a little bit. So I'm thinking of someone who worked with us many years ago, and back then it's like every movement pattern had a lock on because she was in pain, and her pain was coming from one specific area, her knee, and she was on prednisone for 2 years, a little over 2 years, finally got off of it. Her body was just an absolute wreck. And fast forward to now, she's had a knee replacement. She's actually addressed the issue. And I told her, I said, you move better in every other aspect. Every movement pattern is elevated from where it was 3 years ago because you addressed your pain. Like your shoulder mobility is improved. Your posture is a lot better. Your core is stronger. And it was just a knee problem. But when you finally got off the medication, you finally addressed the issue and changed your structure a little bit, and actually helped your body regulate back to where it was actually supposed to be. So you removed that interference.
Yeah. Well, it's pain alters motor control, right? Yeah. And it's not just localized; it's whole body. Right. And it goes back to that whole concept you guys were just bouncing back and forth as interference. Mm-hmm. And when we have that interference, it keeps our body from adapting. And it sounds like, if I'm correct, chiropractic does a good job of trying to remove that interference so the body can do what it was designed to do.
That's
right?
exactly what the principle, the philosophy of chiropractic
right?
is. Yeah. Whether it's to remove the interference so you're not not in pain.
Yeah.
Or to tell the smaller or the large intestines that it's okay to
go to the bathroom.
to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and techniques have modified and changed so much over the past 20 years since I've been doing it. Which has been really cool too. As we've studied more, we've learned more about fascia and myofascial function. It's really been eye-opening to see this, so many different ways can have different effects, but are the same effects, and different people need different things. So I'm still enjoying learning about that. I'm getting more into more tonal work and fascial work and things that affect the overall tone of the body rather than just more segmental things, which is great in itself. But when you put all these different tools together, when you do something as long as, we have, you start wanting to learn more and be better. And like, well, if this isn't working, what else can I do to help this person? So there's always something more to learn and geek out on.
Yes, for sure.
We're pretty good. We don't bat 1,000,
yes.
But it's because, it's because of those little moments where we're like, man, I could have helped this person. What went wrong? Where we actually search for more. And, people, it's not often that we get asked this question, but every now and then we'll have someone come in and they're like, well, what are your credentials?
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you our credentials. And the list is very long, but that does not matter, because what matters is that you have somebody in your corner that cares first. Because if you have someone in your corner that cares, they're going to actually do the work behind the scenes. Like, it's not about what I learned 10, 15 years ago. It's about what I'm going to learn consistently on a day-to-day basis so I can help you out right now. Like, your situation may be completely different than anything that I've seen before. So yes, we have people that are occupational therapists that work at this gym. We have people with their masters. We have all these different certifications. We've learned from doctors of chiropractic and doctors of physical therapy. Yes, we've done all the things, but I'll tell you what, nobody's going to care for you like we do right now, and no one's going to work behind the scenes and coach 8 hours and then go home and still be eaten up with this stuff, because I actually am engulfed in this. We are actually engulfed in this. And you can tell when someone has that passion, like, you just can't help but share it with others, right? It's like the old saying Scott told me when I first started at RxDs, like, if you had the cure to cancer, would you be afraid to share it with others? Absolutely not. So we have the cure for teaching people how to live a healthy lifestyle. You have the cure for helping people remove the interference. Why wouldn't you share it every day with other people? Why wouldn't you expand your knowledge? Why wouldn't you search for more on a consistent basis? So
yeah.
That was good. That was good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
The big thing I took out of that, Leah, is caring, and you do that very, very well. But I want you to talk to the listener out there. I want you to talk to the mom that is struggling with getting their newborn baby to latch. I want you to talk to the pregnant mom that may be discomfort. Maybe their baby is facing the other direction. I want you to
Scott
talk
knows
to
a lot.
Yeah, I know all these things. I want you to talk to the mom that has a newborn that they can't figure out why it's crying, why he or she's crying. I want you to talk to the dad that he gets home every day and his back hurts and he's got nothing left. Like, what would you say to those people? Like, they're on the fence. They know they need help, but they're scared of chiropractic, right?
Yeah. Well, there's hope out there for everybody. If you come in my office and I can help you, I definitely will. I think we have something for everybody, but we'll find you the help that you need. I mean, And if you come in the office and you're scared of chiropractic and you see me adjusting an infant that's just been born, it usually takes away your hesitation there. But we have techniques that work for everybody, cradle to grave, preconception even, by caring, by encouraging, by placing hands on people, for praying for people. There's so many benefits from having a friend or a chiropractor or a personal trainer or, a physical therapist. There's help out there, and if you can just find the resources, don't be stuck thinking that there's no that there's no hope.
Right.
There's definitely hope, and there's ways to get it. So that's such a blessing. I always like to send people out of the office far better than they came in. Whether the treatment that I gave them made a hill of beans difference, at least I heard them, I touched them with kindness and love, and sent them out the door with a blessing. So,
my number one rule for building trust with a chiropractor is to stay off TikTok.
Oh, gosh.
I think people oftentimes see those videos. You've seen the videos.
I have patients coming in tonight.
Oh, my
Every
gosh.
time they're like, can we just mic you? It's a family. And they love it. And they'd love to needle me about it, too.
You have to understand that there's a microphone really close to the place that they're cracking, and they're doing that for clicks and for views. Like, that's not all that goes into it. But it's funny. My algorithm right now on TikTok is stuck on the AI chiropractic world, and people are showing like this chiro will say, "All right, deep breath in, Mrs. Johnson," and then like toss Mrs. Johnson over his shoulder, and
The Homer Simpson style.
so, but it's just making fun of that scene right there. But there's so much more that goes into it. It's stuck in my algorithm right now.
We're gonna have to change that up.
But I think it's exactly what you said. Like it's taking the holistic approach. Sometimes it's just making sure that someone feels heard. Like if you think about, it's therapy. Like fitness sometimes is therapy. Breathing sometimes is therapy. Because if you think about it, like, well, how do you feel right now? Better. And you didn't even touch them yet. You just listened to them.
People
you
talk
heard
to
out the
you
problems.
all
Yeah.
for an hour of
100%. Someone stopped by the gym the other day and they were just checking it out, and then 45 minutes later they're still there because they just needed to get everything off of their chest. They wanted to see what we had. In the same breath, they wanted to tell somebody. They met me for the first time. They didn't know anything. I think you said a hill of beans. They didn't know a hill of beans about RxD, but they just knew that, hey, this seems like a comfortable environment. I need to get this off my chest. Can you listen to me? So sometimes it's just about that. And then you can use all those tools in your toolbox to help get them out of that situation.
Yeah.
That's great. Dr. Leah, how can they find out more?
Well, Louisville Family Chiropractic is our practice. We have two other lovely ladies that are chiropractors that work with us, Dr. Cassie Rogers and Dr. Miriam Garber. With the three of us, we have a variety of techniques that seem to be a good fit for most everybody. We have lovely office staff that one of the big requirements is you have to be able to hold babies and answer phones and give little kids stickers at the same time. So we have a very open, friendly environment. So if anybody's worried about bringing their kids in, if you're wanting an appointment but you're afraid about bringing your kids in, we definitely have a great play area where you can get seen and they can play before or after their adjustments. Let's see, our website is health@lfchiro.net, but we're on the socials. I think you have to be these days.
Yes.
I guess that's where you'd find us.
Awesome. I'll put all of Dr. Leah and Louisville Family Chiropractic's information in the show notes. If you need something, reach out to Dr. Leah. Obviously, you found out she's an open book today and that she has a soul for this. So reach out to Dr. Leah, get your family healthy, and start with something simple. If you'd like to start with something simple with fitness, you can reach out to us. We're on Instagram and all the socials as well, at Results by Design Fitness. The podcast is at Live Healthy Louisville. I'm at Coach Ryan _4. This is at Coach _Scott Wilson. Reach out to us. Ask some questions. Tell us if there's someone out there that's like-minded, like ourselves, like Dr. Leah, that wants a holistic approach to fitness, health, and wellness, let us know. Comment, DM us. And as always, you can reach out to me at ryan@resultsbydesignfitness.com. That's my email. I'd love to work with you. So if you comment VIP on this podcast, we will enter you for a chance to win a free month of personal training at Results by Design Fitness. And I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Leah, for coming on today. I learned a lot. I was happy to hear. I learned some things about Scott too that I didn't know. It was really cool. And we'll see you next time on Live Healthy Louisville, guys. Thank you very much.